I see twins over there. What's going on over there? What up? What up? What up? What up, everybody? We are back for another week. We're going to try to bring some energy today. So, do we handle the Bills first, right? We handle the Bills first. The Bills is first.
Gotta handle the Bills, brother.
All right. So, shout out to Chula Ware. We was definitely hanging out with her this weekend down at the Florida Pro. As y'all know, this is the Florida Pro recap. So, we was down there hanging out with Chula. So make sure if you need any shorts, flip flops. Actually, got me. I ain't gonna say another pair. I got me a pair of flip flops.
Okay.
From her this weekend.
Did you do that thing in the flip flops though?
Huh?
Did you do that?
I got that thing in the flip flop that separated toes. Hey, it's game changer. But
no,
make sure y'all go use those codes.
Did you do the thing in the flip flops?
Oh no, I ain't do that. I ain't do that.
Okay.
No. But make sure y'all use the code eShell10 and Carolina Muscle. Get you a good old family discount. Like we said, the shorts are flying off the shelves. There are actually a couple new pair of shorts that I've seen this weekend that was pretty fire. Y'all probably will see those, or she probably posted them already. But yeah, go make sure anything you need for your competition needs, whether for the ladies it's bodysuits, robes, backstage apparel, all of that stuff she has on the website. So go check her out. Use those codes. But man, let's get straight into the episode, man. So it's a bittersweet episode, of course, as we know. As we see this guy behind you right here, getting memorialized at this show. But we're going to go talk about the Florida Pro recap, man. I honestly say for me, it's been an excellent experience. I think I have been for 4 years, and I wish I definitely get into the whole what I'm gonna my spiel later, but I was about to say the one thing I wish I could have done was step on the stage. Daryl has begged me for years. I'm pretty sure when he comes on here, he's going to tell me about myself. So I'll get it out the way and say I wish I did. Right. But if you guys do not know, this was the last Florida Pro show. Jamal had the honor of competing in it a couple times, right?
Yeah, twice.
Okay, twice. But we don't want to have this conversation by ourselves, so we decided to, of course, bring Daryl on. If you guys have not seen Daryl on one of our episodes, you are missing out. But we're going to bring him to the stage, Mr. Daryl DeVore. How are you doing, man?
Oh my goodness, hey, gentlemen, how are you doing this evening?
What's going on?
How's it going? I can say one of the episodes was pretty damn fun. That might have been one of your highest rated episodes ever. But we'll keep it in pocket tonight.
Oh man,
we can definitely tell. I told you before we started, I was just like, man, I think I seen you. I got there Thursday, and literally you were already setting up to, I would say, put on the experience of what the Florida Pro is and Florida State National Championship is. And I think by the time you stopped working after the show, man, you probably had a long weekend. But kind of tell us some of the behind the scenes stuff that people do not see for putting on the production like you put on.
Well, I'll put it like this: there's neither a right way or a wrong way, or a right place or a wrong place to put on an event. But I've gone to hundreds of events in every single format you could possibly imagine, and I felt for me that the best athlete experience was at a stay where you compete hotel type environment. The kind of one shop stopping, going onto a theater type event, it has its advantages because there's less as a promoter that you have to worry about, unless you have to set up, unless you have to do. But then you've got a hotel 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 miles down the road, with maybe tanning being there, maybe not being there, and maybe this being there, maybe not being there. So we kind of decided early on that we wanted it to be a one-stop shopping, everything under one roof experience. So being that it's at a all you can eat buffet at the hotel, like once you get there, you don't have to go anywhere else. We've been extremely fortunate that we've had a great partner in the Hilton of Altamont Springs that they allow us to come in early on Thursday and start bringing all of our stuff. I've always said it's very easy to put on a show. It's not easy to put on an event. So when we take over the hotel, kind of like they allow us to do, and that we've done, taking over the whole hotel lobby, the whole ballroom area, all the hallways, every single additional space that's available to rent out. There's quite a lot of setup that's involved. So it has been very laborious. It's been very much painstaking, but me and Holly have loved to do it. We're basically a two man and woman show. We've done it all pretty much for the most part by ourselves with a little bit of help, on the sides. But we start on Thursday morning bringing stuff down. On Friday, we start setting up first thing early in the morning if we haven't already set everything up by Thursday night to make sure that we're ready for check-in on Friday.
Okay. Just take us through the first Florida Pro, which was when? When was
Actually,
the first Florida Pro?
The very first Florida Pro, we didn't even have it named Championship Weekend back then, and I think that's what actually gave us our roots. Was during COVID.
Okay.
So we were kind of the only game in town. Thank goodness. I mean, say what you will, but we are located in the United Free State of Florida. So our COVID restrictions were a little bit more lax, and we opened up extremely quickly. That's why the Olympia actually was down here that year, because of our restrictions being lifted so early. So that actually gave us the athletes that had nowhere to go. We had athletes coming in basically our first year from Washington, Oregon, Wisconsin, Michigan, Missouri, New York. I mean, basically from all over the country, because these athletes were still in prep and ready to go, and they had nowhere to go, and kind of we were like the only show in town. So that kind of gave us our hard roots and gave us a lot of nationwide exposure to where normally, just to be perfectly frank, we never probably would have got that. I mean, I'm a pretty big engine behind everything, and even as many cylinders as I'm pumping, I really don't know without that COVID year if we would have got the national exposure that very first year that we did.
All right. So then take us through the evolution over the years.
Well, we started out at a different venue for the first couple of years, and it was basically the main reason that my wife and Holly, my wife and Holly, I'm sure she'll be happy to hear that. It's been a long weekend. But the reason we actually got started is because Holly was competing in bikini at the time. I was not. Had nothing to do with the sport other than the back my wife's play. And we started going to natural shows in Florida. And to be honest, back then, 7 years ago, it was nothing but pure shit. They were horrible. I mean, trash. And I was like, what are we going to? And yes, it's great, but I mean, what's going on here? I mean, you're getting some awards, and the production value is not good. I mean, what the athletes are getting and being provided is not good. The services are not good. So we just kind of looked at each other, said, well, hey, we're going to do it ourselves. So we're going to make it better. We're going to, and us being masters athletes at the time, there was nowhere else that masters athletes actually had to go get a check. You had to wait maybe to your season ending organization show that maybe they had some kind of horrible tiered payout if more than 2 people showed up, but you may or may not get a check that covered your entry fee. And you had to wait all year to do that. So the main reason is we wanted to have somewhere for masters athletes to go to compete. We wanted to have a great show. We wanted to treat pros like pros. And that's kind of where it all started. And that's kind of how it evolved year after year. We were at a 25% increase year over year for the first 4 years. And then it kind of got to where it was at. And the main reason above everything else is to make all the promoters spend more money, take more care in their promotion, better stage, better awards, treat pros like pros should be treated instead of just paying more, going first, and going home early. Because that's 7 years ago, that's what you got, guys. I mean, if you go back in the Wayback Machine, 7 years ago, pros didn't get anything. It was just, hey, you paid more money, and hey, I'm a pro. Okay, congratulations. And we wanted to change the game. We wanted to change the landscape. We wanted to change basically how everything was done and how everyone was treated, and show everybody and put them on blast essentially that do better, do more, spend more money, and take care of your athletes. And that's kind of a little bit of the evolution behind everything.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was about to say, just to go into that, because when you say that you provide a pro experience, I think this is the second or third year that I brought athletes to your show. And the one true thing that you held to the forefront is how pros should be treated. You even do it for amateurs as well, but it's a little, you can feel the little extra for the pros. Like I think the one thing that my clients raved about this past weekend was one of my guys actually said the best part of the show was actually being able to talk to the judges right after the show. Like they appreciated something. So we say it's small, but they appreciate it because it's like, I got real-time feedback. A judge had to look me in my eye and give me feedback. To all the way down to something that me and Jamal talked about the swag bags. And you go over and beyond to give out really great swag bags. So being around the sport and being a promoter, I know we had you on and we talked about a couple different things about, I think one year we spoke about the lighting, and then you literally went and bought a light rig. Why are you so proactive like that? Is it just because you want to be the best promoter, or is it just because you really just want to provide the best product for us?
Listen, it's not, for me. Honestly, it's not about wanting to be the best promoter, because I could give three shits less. I mean, this is hopefully this isn't sorry kids, and please send your children into the next room. But for me, if it's not the quality that I would expect, if I was on stage, then it's not right. And every single year I used to do surveys. If I had something, okay, DJ was messed up. Okay, I didn't appreciate these judges' this a particular set of judges' feedback, gone, which I would review myself. But I don't take anybody's word for it. I do my due diligence. But I was never happy, honestly, with my lighting until last year when I decided to spend all the thousands of dollars to do it myself, to make sure that if it was wrong, it was because of me, not because of anybody else. I guess at the end of the day, I'm a control freak, which anybody that knows me knows that 100% that I am. My way is not necessarily the right way or the wrong way, but by God, if it's not being done my way, then you don't have to be here. I just want it done my way. So not to say that everybody has to do it my way, but at the end of the day, to the actual point of your question, I just want to make sure if I was the one on stage and I was the one receiving those photos and I was the one receiving those videos, that I have no issues, that I have no complaints. I've told everybody I'm not going to organization bash, which I've never done, to a certain degree. I pointed out I pointed out things that I like and things that I don't like. But one of the things that I do like with the last two organizations that I'm with, live feedback, assigning feedback to one judge for one division with all the athletes. A couple of weeks later, by email, I may have not taken good notes. I may be a shitty judge. I may be a great judge. Who knows? I just don't think that's the proper way. I don't think that's the way to take care of athletes. I think feedback should be done on the spot at the end of every show. They should be able to come back to the judges, and the judges should be able to justify their placings, their feedback, give positive and negative, giving things to grow on, giving things they did great. but the best time is prime time. So just to go back to that point, I 100% think that that's the way it should be done. But there are some organizations that are just a slave to their format, to which that cannot be done. And I think that's very unfortunate because they're just a slave to their formats, and their shows can't be adjusted. They can't be speeded up. They can't give good feedback, and they're just a slave to the beast, as it were. But no, I try to make adjustments every single year if I can, and if at all possible, to make sure that the athletes have the best experience. And if I was one of those athletes on stage, that I would have had the type of experience that I would have wanted to have. So that's kind of the way I formulate my corrections, adjustments, and the way that I go about my show.
All right. Two quick things here. Your lights was amazing. I told you that before the episode even aired. Thank you for having such great lighting, because that actually made my job easier at your show, because the videos came out amazing, and I know Greg pictures came out amazing too, and that's due to the lighting that you did have. Another thing I want to say too is I remember when I first did your show, and that was your motto: we treat pros like pros, we take care of our pros. And I can honestly say that you do that. You do a great job. You and Holly do a great job at taking care of the pros. So kudos to you guys on that. All right, so now let's get into the nitty gritty. As we all know, this was the final Florida Pro. What was the thought process going behind the final Florida Pro this year?
Okay. My wife Holly is the 100% driving factor between of the show this year. After 2 years down in a row, I was like, okay, this is it. We've run our course. I think that we've done what we set out to accomplish in the industry by making everybody better. Before, there were no pro shows at local shows. Before, pros didn't get better treatment. Before, there were no payouts for Masters pros unless you were at an organization season-ending show. Spotlights were better, atmosphere was better, venues were better, backdrops were better. Oh, so we thought, okay, I'm done. Okay, we've accomplished the mission. And then so many athletes came up to Holly, is like, oh, please, this can't be your last show. This can't be your last show. And that was maybe my fault or not my fault, that I maybe didn't want to communicate it, or I was hoping that it would have been a little bit better last year as far as numbers, not production value. But she said, listen, you did not let everybody know that this was your final year. You can't do that. You have to let everybody know this is the final championship weekend. This is the final Florida State Natural Championships. This is the final Florida Pro. You got to give everybody at least an opportunity, if they've wanted to come again or if they've never been, to experience the show. So I give Holly 100% credit for that, and that was the driving force behind this year's show. We gave out better awards than we ever have, more for the pros than we ever have, better expo than we've ever had, better lobby hotel experience than we've ever had. So we didn't want to go out on a down note. We were going out in style and going out doing things the way that we've always done, and hopefully a little bit better for all the athletes. So that's kind of the driving force this year. It was Holly, just to be perfectly honest.
And I guess I want to comment on I was at both the athletes meeting Saturday and Sunday, and I think the beautiful thing was, even though it being your last year, when Walt asked the question, whose first time is it competing here, whether they were amateur or pro, I think I could say, I don't know the exact number, but it looked like about 80% of the room never competed there before. So the outpour of athletes either hearing about your show or wanting to do your show, I'm doubting that all of them was local, right? But I think the outpour of people coming to support the show this last year, like, what does that mean to you?
Well, that means everything, because I mean, any promoter can say anything that they want to, and they can be hyperbolic about it, or catfish it, or gaslight it, or whatever they want to do just to make themselves, seem better or bigger than what they are. But the one thing that I can say is, that traditionally for the last 7 years, we've had more athletes from outside the state of Florida than Florida. I mean, we have really prided ourselves that we've been able to attract some of the best amateur talent and definitely some of the best pro talent from all over the country. And that's just not pros, that's amateurs as well. So we've been really proud about that. And I'm really proud about the fact that as far as the Florida Pro goes, we've never had a repeat men's physique champion. We've never had a repeat bikini champion. We've never had a repeat wellness or women's physique. Now we've had some repeat in Angel and Classic, and actually, we've never had a repeat in bodybuilding for that matter. So the worst thing for a promoter, and I tell people this privately, and I'll say it publicly, the worst thing for a promoter is to have the same assholes winning your show year after year after year. It makes you look like a Homer show. And then athletes don't want to come. They might think that, oh, it's just a Florida show and it's just Florida judges and it's just this organization's judges and this person's just always guaranteed to win. No, I've really been fortunate to where we've launched a lot of great careers and never had a ton of repeat champions. And the quality has always been really super high. And and me and Holly are really, really proud about that fact.
What do you think it is about Florida Pro? Because you just said Florida Pro launches people careers. So what do you think it is when athletes touch that stage? They tend to go off and do great things throughout the year.
You know, I've never really put my finger on it, but I will say this: the fact that we've drawn in some of the outside talent from around the country that may or may not have gotten a good light or shine on them locally on where they're at. That we've always considered ourselves kind of like the Arnold of natural bodybuilding. We're the big every organization kind of everything Super Bowl show early. That's kind of the starter and the catalyst for the rest of the year and setting everything up for the big season-ending championship shows. Honestly, I can't tell you why. Maybe it's what we give. Maybe it's the stage. Maybe it's the venue. Maybe it's the way I promote. But I mean, just as examples, Showtime. My show was the first big pro show that he won. Then he went on to win everything for 5 years. Marcus. My show was the first big show that he won. Went on to win the Yorton Cup the same year. The guy sitting right there in the middle with the cute stand-up that I paid a little bit of money for. Came in, won my show. Yorton Cup champion. Same with Core Killer. Won my show 3 times. Boom, Yorton Cup champion. Dr. J. My show was one of the first big shows that he won. Went on to go 5 times back-to-back Mr. America and start cleaning house everywhere. So I don't know. I mean, even Nathan last year. Nathan won my show and then went on like a 6 or 7, 8 show tear in the OCB, just cashing every bag that somebody would throw at him. You know, and had a great performance at the Yorton. So honestly, I don't know what it is. Maybe the word gets around in the DMs that, you know, hey, this is a show that they're going to take care of you. They're going to promote you. They're going to make sure that your name and likeness gets out there and put you in the ether, and you're going to have a great experience and you got a great opportunity. And, you know, I honestly, I don't know, but I'm very fortunate, very blessed that it's happened that way.
I think I can even look at the past shows you had. And if you look at it, it's like the early testing ground. Like you said, it's like the Arnold. Like whenever you know that you can draw somebody from, let's say, the OCB, where it used to be the IPE, and you have the champions from 3 different or 4 different organizations all competing on the same stage. Whoever wins that show, they got to leave with a breath of fresh air. Like, yo, I just beat all these people from different organizations.
Either a fresher breath, either a breath of fresh air, or an old shit. I got some more work to do.
Right.
So yeah.
So it can be a wake up call real fast. So with this being your last show, I was glad enough or happy enough and blessed enough to be able to bring athletes to your show. And I was like, I had a pre-made speech, and then I was just like, I didn't have a speech because I was just like, since I can't compete on the stage, I have to bring people to compete on your stage, and they did very good.
Well, now if you notice, I watch everything. My tentacles are everywhere. You mentioned a couple of lives ago, about a month or so ago, that you went to a show, and I've never seen a snack table and an athlete table. Yeah. Okay.
And you had Jolly Rancher gummies back there. I appreciate you. I had a few.
Beef sticks, Jolly Ranchers, muffins, Cannon 4 microwaves. I was like, no. See, I either go to shows to find out what to do, but the majority of the time I go to find out what never to do. But if I hear a good idea, taking it, because that just makes everything better. And I appreciate you getting me straight on that one. I need to do more for the pros. I need to put some stuff backstage for them in case they forgot something.
Yeah, and then you also had the pump up area, and I think we need to shine enough light on the people, like I said, promoters like you who, took the time, you put weights backstage, you had barbells, you had dumbbells, and knowing that, like you said, 80% of your people travel, they can't travel with dumbbells, they can't travel with all these things, but for you to have those that accessible to them backstage, was that also just your mindset of like a thought of like, this is another way I could take care of the athletes?
Well, no, 100%, because there's only so much you can do with bands, and in a lot of cases and with a lot of venues, that may not be, just a promoter faux pas, but it may be something they may not be able to do or can't do or don't have the ability to do, because I'm fortunate that our venue is 6 miles away from my house, and I have gyms and gym owners and people that I know that can help me out. And I will say, if my venue was 7 miles away from my house, I never would have done a show. So it's just those type of, it also has to do with me being so fortunate with the partners that I've had, about being able to do those things. But sometimes, bands just aren't enough. And sometimes you're sitting back there and you can't pump up, and you're doing push-ups or towel pulls, and maybe you'd like to have a dumbbell or a barbell, and we try to do as much as we can, and we've always tried to do as much as we possibly could for the athletes. And then again, it just goes back to, if I was backstage myself, or on stage, or getting a bag, or this, that, or the other thing, what would I have wanted to be there? And I've just tried to, as best as I've could over the years, try to do those type of things for the athletes.
Oh, it's my turn to ask a question?
Yeah, I thought you was looking for something.
Well, he's probably staring at his picture back there.
No, I just wanted to make sure I got the year right. So I don't think I ever told this story publicly or whatnot, but me and you actually met in 2021. I did a show. I'm not going to say the name of the show. I did a show.
Was it 21? Was it 21 or 20?
It was 2021.
21. Okay, 21.
Yeah,
21.
Look at the name on the nameplate. Yeah, it was 2021. I did a show, and I placed dead last at that show. A pro show, I placed dead last. I didn't know how I placed dead last, but I placed dead last. Daryl reached out to me. I had no idea who he was at the time. He was like, "Hey, you shouldn't have placed where you placed. I have a show here in a couple weeks. Come do my show." And I think you gave me free entry, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we'll go over that story here in a second. We'll go over that story here in a second.
From a can of paint. So that's how me and you got connected. I came down and I did your show. I think that year I ended up placing second to Jay, which I didn't know who Jay was at that point in time. But that's just how, people like you, like I said, you didn't know me from a can of paint, and you seen some kind of potential in me, whether you just wanted to have an extra body on stage, who knows? But I think you seen the potential in me, and you reached out to Olive Branch, and that's what it's all about in this sport, man. Just seeing the potential in somebody and extending the olive branch. So I just want to appreciate you for doing that.
Well, no, I appreciate that. Well, and it wasn't just the potential; it was also the fact that you got screwed, and the judging panel was a bunch of morons. So there was that as well. But let me finish the story. This was new in my social media career, and I had just my website, 2 Facebooks, 2 Instagrams, yada yada yada, and it's coming showtime. And he finally, Jamal reaches out and is like, "Hey, am I still going to do your show, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'll give you a little bit of a discount." Then he reaches out to one of my friends and go, "Hey, this guy offered me a free entry, and now he's asking me to pay." Promoter brain, I'm like just gone. I'm like, oh no, yeah, dude, so sorry. Like scroll back, like yes, no, 100% free. And that's the other part of that story is like I totally even friends like, oh yes, 100%, yeah, free entry, 100%. But I will say this, and I'm not going to name names. I've given out more than a handful of free entries, amateur and pro, over the years that I'm not going to advertise because maybe somebody's going through something, or maybe they can't afford something, and I know that they should be on my stage and want to be on my stage and deserve to be on my stage. I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. I got your tan covered. I got your drug test covered. I got your entry fee covered. You just need to be here. Don't worry about it. Hit me on the backside. We'll worry about that later. Because I've just always wanted the best athletes on stage, and whatever I can do to help facilitate that, whether it be one way or another. I've always wanted to do that. And yeah, it was for you, Jamal, and you came back the next year and you actually won, by the way. And then went on to win the Yorton that same year. But it's like one of those things is like for me and Holly, it's never been about money. If it was about money, we never would have started a show. And if a promoter is doing it for money, please get out. Please never do another show, because you're in it for the wrong reason. If you're not in it for the athletes, then you're doing the sport and the athletes a disservice. So, but thank you for the shout out. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna get to the I guess the touchy question of what feelings were going through your head, of course, this weekend when you look out into the crowd, and not only do you see competitors and, of course, competitors' families, but then you see, I think from what I saw from my perspective, I saw a genuine collection of athletes who previously did your show come back to support your show.
Oh, man.
To experience
and
that
you got emotional a couple times, too.
Yeah.
You got it on camera.
Well, I can say that, like, I've been fortunate enough that, like, some of my champs, and it's been my pro champs, that either they did the show one year, whatever year that may have been, and listen, they're not driving an hour to come and sit down. I've had just as an example, Robin Evans. She was my first pro figure champ, and she has been here every single year just to support the show. She's competed twice, but the other years she has just come to support the show because, for whatever reason, she loves me and Holly. She loves the show, and she wanted to support. And I've had a ton of athletes over the years that do the same thing. And I'm talking, they're coming from, Michigan. They're coming from Kentucky. They're coming from New York, Texas, not even competing, just to support the show and watch it and to say hi and be a part of it. That truly, like, it means everything to me and Holly, because then that means we're doing something right, that we've affected the athletes in some way and affected the sport in some way to where, it's like, man, these guys really care about us. We should probably care a little bit back, and they always have, and it means the world to me and Holly. I'm not going to lie. Over the years, it's been more than a few, and it's very special to me and Holly, to say the least. Very special.
One thing that I do want to shout out, I'm not gonna say any names, or I just know that you had judges from different organizations on your judging panel, and I truly believe what I've seen Sunday, they got everything right. I don't think there was, oh no, this person should have been here or that person. I think they literally got everything right with your winners. So shout out to you putting that judging panel together, and shout out to them, picking the right winners for sure.
Well, I since to go back to like the Arnold and the season beginning kind of big show, I've always wanted to have judges from different organizations on my judging panel. Every year, regardless of the organization that I've been in, I've had OCB judges, SNBF judges, IPE judges, NGA judges, USBF judges. I want to spread the judging panel out, but still go over at the judges meeting and make sure they're good on our criteria to judge our criteria to the way that they're judging the athletes, so that the athletes know that it's just not a homer organization judging panel. I want the athletes to know that there's representation from other organizations, that they feel that they're going to get a good look, that they're not going to get overlooked just by some sort of bias or, some type of, nonsense like that. And I will say this, it's taken me almost to the last 2 years to finalize my judging panel, because Jamal and Eric, you've been there for a few years. The only time my judging panel has been exactly the same as last year and this year. I have gotten rid of judges for either one reason or the other, that I did not feel needed to be on the platform, or in a lot of cases, in a lot of what you would call local quote unquote shows that aren't used to judging high caliber pro talent and have no idea what they're looking at and don't judge it correctly. So I've always tried to do my best to get the best judges, especially not just sliding the amateur side, but when I have all of these high level pros from every organization from all over the country and around the world come to the show, I want to make sure that they're being judged correctly, and that they're being judged by people that's used to seeing that type of talent on stage, because that's not the norm out there across the country in any organization. I'm not throwing stones at just one. The major problem with judging out there nowadays is you have a ton of inexperienced judges that don't know what they're looking at, that they don't know how to judge high caliber talent against lower caliber talent, and especially in the amateur side. If you have a high caliber amateur going up against low caliber amateurs, they're not rewarding the high caliber, because the high caliber looks out of place. So obviously all the low caliber must be in the right place, so let's judge them higher. No, that's not the way it works. We should be looking for pros, people that are pro ready. When the pros get there, they need to be judged like pros should be judged. So I've painstakingly taken the time over the years to do my best. I'm not saying I've figured it all out and mine's the best, but I've done my best to try. Oh, looky, there, that good boy. Oh my God, is that a good girl? But I've tried my best to get my judging panel in the position to judge the best talent on stage correctly. So I've just always tried to do my best as best I could.
So you eat?
No, I'm about to say, and I will attest it, because it was funny, because I was like telling you, I was 1 year I was judging from home. I think it was the 1 year I didn't come. I was judging from home, and I made the joke to you like, "Hey, I should come judge your show next year," because I think we talked about some of the placements, and I think we kind of shared some exchanges, and I was just like, "Yo,"
and I said, "Don't threaten me with a good time when you're coming."
And then next thing you know, next year I'm on the panel. So I think it was one of those things of like I said, the one thing I can say about you and your show year over year is, hey, I'm trying to improve. I'm trying to improve. I'm trying to improve. I'm not complacent. Yeah. And I think that's the one thing that bodybuilding was missing, was somebody to push the needle, someone to dare to be great or dare to be different to move the needle. And like you said, there has been a lot of shifting changes in the way a lot of people operate. I know before the show, you was just like, you're not going to take credit for it. Then you was like, hell, you know what? I'm going to take credit for it. So we want to give you a credit for, a lot of the things you have done, like we said, especially from the judging standpoint. Like I think me and Jamal had this podcast for probably about 3 years. And I think the one consistent thing we talk about every year is judging and the different aspects of judging, like from feedback to even just how the show is ran. And I think you did it all. You would set up crews, set down crew. You probably would have DJ'd if the DJ would have let you. You head judged and you MC.
Yeah, so this year was a little different.
Yeah. So what was behind your mindset of like, hey, you know what? I'm going to put my foot in this part of the pot to make sure that the show goes correctly.
Well, you can you can comment to the fact of the way that the prejudging ran, or whether you thought it was good or whether it was bad. But Abraham has always been one of my, well, not always, but has been my head judge for the last few years. But I've always felt that, just being the egomaniacal, attention to detail, crazy person that I am, that I know every athlete, I know every number, I know the show flow, I know where to move in, know where to move out. I've always thought that I could manipulate my show a little bit more efficiently. So I decided this year, being my last year, and I never wanted to have that, okay, this guy's head judging his own show. I never wanted to have that head tilt at my show. But I finally decided, you know what? I'm going to head judge my show this year, and I'm going to make sure that we've got the most efficient head judging possible. And Abraham's always done a great job, always done a fantastic job. Still love Abraham to death. I was wanting to throw my 2 cents into it this year. The DJ portion, my DJ just had a family commitment at the last minute that he couldn't do. So I'm like, okay, well, save me $300, so I'll MC too. So I wanted to relax, but it was like, hey, I MC too. But the conscious decision was to head judge this year. I've head judged numerous shows for different organizations over the years. And at my show, I have 7 judges and a head judge. My head judge does not judge. So I have no, other than moving athletes in and out and listening to the judges and where they want them and where I place them, I have no say in the outcome. And none of my head judges ever have. So I said, well, let's go ahead and throw my head in here and see if we can get a little bit more efficient, and if possible, and try my hand at it for my own show. And I think it worked out well. The MC thing was, that was like, that was purely by necessity. That wasn't planned at all. So I hope that worked out better than I thought it did. But the head judging was on purpose. The MC was not. So there you go. As far as that, that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, I would love to get into your winners, but of course, people are making their rounds online of the winners of the show. So shout out to all the winners that did win the show. I got a 2-part question here for you, and this is probably my last question.
Okay, yeah, because you asked me one question, and I'll talk for 5 minutes, so I'm sorry about messing up your show.
Oh, no, you didn't mess up anything.
I'll talk forever. You got to shut me up. Just like raise a hand, throw a rock. I'll shut up. Just tell me.
All right. So what do you hope the athletes took away from the Florida Pro experience? And that could be from 2020 to present. And what do you hope your peers or other promoters, took away or learned from your show as well?
Believe it or not, this is going to be a very short answer. But at least I'm going to try. From the athlete equation, on the athlete side of it, you deserve better. Ask around and make sure when you spend your money, you're getting what you pay for, because you deserve better. From the promoter side of it, do better. Spend more money. Don't take your athletes for granted. They're not just a number and an entry fee that you can piss off until next year and hope that they just come back to your event. You need to do everything possible to make sure that they can't miss your next event. Promoters do better. That's my short answer on those two questions.
Hey, I love it.
I just knew I had longer to think, but I didn't.
Yeah, I messed you up on that one, didn't I? Yeah, I messed you up. That one is a pretty short and simple question, but that's the nutshell right there. You deserve better and do better.
All right, so we'll end on this question, and this one will probably be a little bit longer because I just know. So, I was gonna ask, of course, about athletes, because I like to put promoters on the spot or people on the spot about, hey,
come on.
If you had, so I won't know, you know what? I am going to do it. Top five memorable appearances on your stage from an athlete. Top five. So I'll give you time to think about that. Okay. And then I want you to end the show with, what legacy do you think the Florida Pro is leaving behind?
Okay. Top five. I will start with, I don't know if it's most memorable or most thankful that they came, or honored that they decided to be a part of, but I'll lump that all into one big ball. One, I will say Misty Weatherford. Misty Weatherford is one of the most accomplished and awarded and exalted bikini pro athletes in the country. I was honored to have her twice at my show. She is not a part of my organization, but she has won every single award from every single organization on the planet. I will say that she was one of the ones that I was very fortunate to have. Another one, I will say Courtney Spaeth. Currently, she is in our organization, but before she was not. She is another figure athlete, won every single title that you could possibly imagine from every single organization on the planet. Also an IFBB pro that was smart enough not to take her pro card because she knew that wasn't worth the money it's printed on. Coming to my show, and she was there again this year. Obviously, she's a part of the organization now. I will also say Dr. J. He's a personal friend. He kind of turned into like the local guy that started out and then turned into Mr. America this, and ran the gambit everywhere, run every single title everywhere except honestly one organization, which we won't talk about, that particular show. But I feel honored that I've had somebody of his caliber. And I'm going to finish off with three other ones. Showtime, Marcus, and Jamal. Showtime, winning my show and then going on to win everything for probably like a 4 or 5 year run before he blew out his Achilles. Every organization, every show, everything he stepped on stage with, he won. Marcus, local-ish guy, Tampa, came into my show, won some shows, won my show, went on to win the Orton, went on to do other amazing things. Now he's a promoter with a fantastic show with the Captain's Cup. And Jamal, to be honest. Now, I've had other Mr. Americas I've had other world champions on my show, but Jamal on my stage twice, Yorton Cup champion, 2-time Yorton Cup champion. Obviously, the influence that you've had with the athletes out there, with your coaching, and now with your videos and the things that you're doing with your production company. Those are some highlights. Now, I mean, I can mention many others, and please, if I didn't mention your name, please don't think that I'm giving you any slight. I would like to mention one athlete that has just blown me off over the years, that has never hopped on my stage. It's a cat named Eric Shelton. I don't know if he's been scared or afraid or just too fat or just, not ready or whatever. He's just never decided for whatever reason to hop on my stage. I wish he would have at some point over the years. I don't know. I mean, Murph's been there. Eshel. Nope. Showtime, yeah. Marcus, yeah. Promo. I mean, Gary. Let's see who else. Like, goddamn, there's so many. Man, almost every single high caliber men's physique pro in the country, except for Eshel. Yeah, no. It was Eric Shelton. Yeah, he's probably been the only like high caliber Yorton Cup champ pro that's never done my show. So if you guys know him, just let him know I missed the. And I really would have liked to have had him on my stage at some point. It would have been nice, but things work out a certain way.
Technically, I was on the stage this year twice.
Yeah, you were. You got the best team award. So, you were on stage and you got a strap. You got strapped up. Now, what was the backside of that question other than the memorable people that were on stage? I think there was a second part to that. I can
what's
finish it
the
up
legacy
quick.
that you're leaving behind?
The legacy that I want to that I think that I'm leaving behind is before I got started, pro athletes were just a number and a higher entry fee. And once we got the ball rolling, I feel that I have moved the needle across every single organization to treat their pros better, to give their pros more, to give their amateurs more, to up your production value on your stage, to basically shine out for your athletes, to make sure that you treat them like part of your family, and that you want them there, not that you expect them to be there just because you put out a flyer 8 weeks and just hope that somebody shows up. You want them to show up over and over and over again. You want to give them reasons to come back. I think my legacy is that before our show, nobody did pro athlete spotlights. Now you see them everywhere. I was the first. Before my show, there were no local shows with more than one pro category, and especially not masters. Now they're all over the place. That was because of my show. Before my show, there were no 2-day formats. Because of my show, now there are 2-day formats, because that gives athletes a little bit more time to shine. Before my show, you had pro athletes that were out there that, again, just got to pay more of an entry fee and went to go first. Congratulations, you're a pro athlete. I think I've changed and moved the needle on that by what I do for my pros, what I give to my pros, how I treat my pros, the prize money that's guaranteed. There's no sliding scales. But before my show, there were sliding scales all over the place. If 3 people don't show up, you get this. If 5 people show up, you get that. If 10 people show up, you get that. No, that's trash. I had 3 people in the class. I had 2 people in the class before. I've had 1 person in the class before my pro show. Your money's guaranteed. Before my show, that didn't happen. So I think, honestly, I've put so much pressure on a lot of the promoters and the organizations out there to do better. And that was basically our mantra. And that's why we got started. And I feel that our legacy over the last 7 years is that we have done that. And please don't slip or step out of line, because I may not be promoting, but now I don't have to be Switzerland to get every organization's athletes at my show. I will call your ass out and put you on blast. You make sure you guys keep doing better, because if not, you're going to hear it. But my legacy at the end of the day between me and Holly is I feel that we've moved the needle to make every show, every organization better in what they do and how they treat their athletes.
So that's
One
only
thing
between
about
you
you.
and
Oh, go ahead.
that's only between you and Holly, not you, your wife, and Holly.
Well, yeah. Me, my wife and Holly have disagreements. Me and Holly, we're pretty much on point.
Got
Yeah,
it.
she's gonna see that she's asleep on the couch right now. She's gonna see this. She's like, you
No,
idiot.
she's
Like
not.
it's like,
Holly just came in the room and waved at us,
oh,
bro.
was she in the room? Okay, she's over there. I talk loud, so I talk loud. So yeah, that was like, oh, I have to address this. On stage, before it comes out on social media or I have a ton of people telling me about it, I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody about it first.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, I awarded an OCB Pro card on stage this weekend. So I want to shout out to the OCB organization. I said brand new OCB Pro. So I want the OCB organization to step up, whichever pro that was, honor that pro card, because apparently I awarded one of your pro cards on stage and that just fell right out of my mouth. So there you go. So we have a USBF Pro, and apparently I awarded an OCB Pro card as well. So I said, and our new OCB Pro, blah, 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 blah. So I just want the OCB to step up and award that pro card. That's the right thing to do. So just watch the live stream. We'll go through the replay. I'll send Sully the name. Hopefully they'll just go ahead and award that pro card. So before I get shit for that, I just wanted to go ahead and out myself that fell out of my mouth on stage on the live stream. So do the right thing, OCB. Award that pro card.
Yo, the funny thing is, I would love to chop that up just as clickbait so everybody can run wild with it and be like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, yeah, but I'm not going to do that.
No, I wanted to hit that quick before it got out there because I know it's coming. So I was like, oh, yeah, I did it. So I was like, I might have been talking about something beforehand. It just fell out of my mouth. I'm like, oh, well, there you go. Do the right thing, OCB. Award that pro card. It's on video. So do the right thing.
Hey, man, Daryl, this was an amazing interview. I think they're always amazing. We always have a good time when we're around each other. I just wanted to personally say, like I said, from every aspect besides the athlete aspect that I could speak from, the athletes definitely appreciate everything you did over the past few years, past decade if it was COVID 2020. So about 7 years. We really appreciate you for promoting this show, putting your heart into it, putting your heart to the athletes, giving the athletes a platform, even to the details of bringing people to your show, like magazines to further, promote people before, after, and during the show. So from an athlete who haven't done your show, but someone who brought people to your show, I can speak for my team especially. Like, we truly appreciate everything you did this year and the past years.
I appreciate that.
Nah, that's my sentiments also. Thank you for everything you've done for the natural bodybuilding community. Thank you for having a part in creating this guy right here, honestly. And from another standpoint, thank you for being a friend. When my mom passed away last year, you and Holly was there. Y'all sent flowers and everything. So even from a friend standpoint, people can say what they want to say about you that don't actually know you. I know you, and I know you're not everybody's cup of tea, but you've been a great friend to me, so I truly appreciate that. Seriously.
No. Listen, me and Holly have met a lot of wonderful people over the years, and we've made a lot of great friends and a lot of great friends that we consider family. And we're extremely fortunate and blessed for that fact, because we consider a lot of the people over the years that we've met family, our family, and our true friends. They're just not a number and an entry form. And Jamal, I think you understand that just about as well as anybody. But that's basically what it's been. And without Holly, there wouldn't have been a show. So I want to give a 1,000% shout out to my wife, Holly. It's been a 2-person deal the whole way through. There's been a lot of people in the background to help out. It's been very instrumental, but without her, there would have been nothing from the start. So I definitely want to make sure she gets all of her flowers for everything.
Your wife or Holly? Which one?
No, this is both of them. My wife Holly. We're going to incorporate both this time. My wife Holly. is that person. That's the one. Listen, I would like to conclude, if this is the conclusion. I am not going away. I am still going to remain in this space. I am still going to be judging. I'm still going to be head judging. I'm going to be providing lighting for shows. I'm still going to be involved. So if any athlete or any promoter, regardless of organization, ever needs any advice or anything that I can do to help, please reach out. I know I'm not the only way. I'm not the only the thing in town, but I do have a lot of experience. I have a business background as well as just promoting a show, so I can help out in a lot of things when it comes to contracts and this, that, and the other thing that a lot of people may or may not know about when it comes to their venues and their events. But we're not going away. We're just not staying in this particular space, but we are staying in the space of natural bodybuilding, and we have no desire to eliminate ourselves from that role.
We love it. And like we said, once again, we want to thank you so much for coming on and letting this, having this conversation with us. But you guys know where to find this. Make sure y'all comment, show all the love in the comments for the Florida Pros. But y'all, until next week, we are out. Peace.
Peace.